E3 2017 discussion. I am your host, Fighter Counts, along with my co-hosts, 16-bit Jeff, say hi,
What up, guys?
and Double RPG, say hi, the Stream Master.
Hi, Stream Master. Ha
And
ha
we're here to
ha
talk about
ha ha.
our thoughts, first with the big three, then the third parties, and then our final wrap-up thoughts. This is going to be a little bit more of a lax episode, a lax stream. I'm not going to go hard and fast the rules this time, except for that very last part. So we have people who can just talk and not worry about getting spoken over. With that said, how y'all doing in the chat? If y'all there,
If you're all there, then yeah, definitely let us know what your thoughts were on E3 this year. But if not, then you can hear these fine, lovely gentlemen talk.
with that said, like I said, the big three. Well, the first of the big three was Microsoft. Like I said, it's more lax. Hopefully, we don't talk over each other too much.
Mhm.
But first off was Microsoft, like we said. What you guys think of it? It was a big improvement in my opinion, but what did you guys think of it?
I would definitely agree with you, Jerry, and say that Microsoft was a bigger improvement over the last couple years. But still, they had some problems that I think they kind of retraced back from those last couple years. But it didn't feel that too boring nor that too monotonous. I think it was more of a mixed bag, but more generally positive type of experience on my end. I mean, with what they showed with the Xbox One X and some of the the games that they have going for it that they showcased. But if I had to complain about something when it comes to their press conference, they said that for the Xbox One X they had 22 exclusive games. But thing is that those games are also coming to PS4, if I'm not mistaken, or
PC.
and
Uh,
PC.
the exclusives. Dragon Ball Fighters being one that is not. It did not even say exclusive, but people still think it's exclusive for some reason.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the
It
biggest
said world
problem is
premiere.
that Microsoft just really haven't. They seem to be doing what I think they've been doing for quite some time, is giving more third parties exposure instead of the first parties, and this year it just seemed like it was a clear message to that. So hopefully next year they have a bigger improvement, but overall, Microsoft, I think they were not too shabby this year. But that's just me. Anyway, what did you think, Jeff?
I agree with you guys. I would actually go one step beyond and said I think this was the most invested as an Xbox bid of a Xbox themed presser in the last 10 years regarding E3. Because the last one I was actually intrigued with was around E3 2008, 2009. Like the second and the third year of the Xbox 360 when it was out on store shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you guys. They need to work on a lot more, but I seen a lot of improvement compared to where they were a couple of years ago at the start of this generation with the original Xbox One reveal. They did some vast improvements with the pacing. They've done a lot goodwill in showing diverse not only genres on Xbox, but more importantly, just an overall lineup of games. There's one complaint I would say. This shows me that I wouldn't say they lost this generation, but they've been really struggling this generation due to a lot of things. However, this gives me hope that next generation they're going to come back swinging like Sony did this generation to PlayStation 4. If I would have to grade it, like if we're going like A to F ratio, I would
Funny
give
enough,
them
that's exactly what I was thinking of.
I would actually give them a B. And coming
Wow.
from a Microsoft guy, that's saying a lot because as you guys know, since generation, I've been very, very critical on Xbox. Granted, I've been critical on Sony too, as well as Nintendo. But Microsoft, I feel like, and you guys can retort if this isn't true. I feel like I've been more on Microsoft's case to generation than either Sony or Nintendo combined.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have been.
Yeah, definitely.
But again, like they said, like, oh, when I hear like retorts, it's like, oh, it's just the usual stuff. It's like there's actually some things I saw that were anti Xbox, like seeing a 3D collectathon platformer. I thought I would never see that again on a platform like the Xbox.
You're talking about that game with the fox, right?
Yes, Super Lucky's Tale.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was actually surprised to see a game shown like that on stage at E3 this year from Microsoft, of all people. Like, we usually expect that from Nintendo or Sony, but to see that Microsoft, I feel like this is why I'm saying I feel like they're trying to that don't don't count them out yet, but don't expect them to turn it around completely this generation. Expect them to do better next generation, because I feel like that I feel like that's what the plan is. Especially what I heard from Phil Spencer when he basically said that they already have first party content signed that is not going to be shown for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And especially here, they're not even going to show Halo 6 at all for the remainder of the events for this year, which I think is the right move. I get why people are pissed, but at the same time, these are the same people who were pissed to begin when they first showed off Halo back in 2013 and in 2014 and in its launch year in 2015, which wasn't the game we got to begin with that we were perceived to be getting in regards to Halo 5 Guardians. So I think Microsoft's doing a lot right with Phil Spencer, but I feel like they're going to do a lot better next generation overall, is what I'm getting at in regards to the message. So again, Microsoft gets a B.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say a B minus. I mean, it was.
I'm the only one who I was actually thinking of a B plus.
Oh,
wow.
Wow.
Which is funny coming from me, right?
Hey, it comes from the Sony guy of all people.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
But you know what I think? I think I'm just still on that Dragon Ball Fighters high.
Oh, that's not going away until that game releases.
Oh my god, have you seen all the other fighting game tournaments that's going on right now at CEO?
Mm-hmm.
All the chats are always
TBC.
saying, when's Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Not when's Marvel no more, when's Dragon Ball?
Oh, thank God. Well, I think there's a reason why this
Well, yeah.
thing with Marvel, because that trash-like demo.
Marvel and Disney, go home. You're drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Go eat them baguettes.
That's right. You forgot. People forget Disney's the one behind.
Oh, you guys get the biggest corporal shill, Capsicum.
Oh, hey, Capsicum.
Next door, jackass.
I'm glad you still got that working. Huh?
Oh, definitely.
Continue with your overall thoughts about Microsoft, Jerry.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
They had some good stuff. They showed more games. They showed more games that I actually thought were cool, which is kind of weird. We'll get to Sony, but that's kind of the things that Sony showed a lot of games too, and it's like, yeah, but oddly enough, Microsoft showed games I actually wanted it to play, even if they are multi-plat. Some of them are multi-plat. It's like, well, hey, I kind of saw Microsoft showing kind of like, look at these cool games you'll play somewhere else, but hey, we'll show them. Like, all right, yeah. I'll watch them.
Mm-hmm.
I might not play it on your system, but I'll watch.
See, that's the funny thing. Like, I understand. Like, that's why I'm in this generation. Like, with Kyle, I completely understand what you say. What's the point of getting the Xbox version when I can get it on PC? But at the same time, I'd like to have that option as a gamer.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Hey, if you have the console, you can get the console version. If you get the PC version, you can get the PC. But my biggest problem with gamers and just the overall community, especially on YouTube, is like, oh, they're losing support. It's like, no, they're still gaining money by gaining from the PC port alone.
Because you have two options available for Microsoft's end.
Mm-hmm.
And both those options means more money coming back to
Go
them.
ahead.
Anyway,
if
continue,
you have
Jerry.
Both a PC and an Xbox, you have even more options, but together, because one of my cousins actually doing this, where you want to play on your PC, you want to play your Xbox games, but the TV's on. Well, hey, you can play from the Xbox game on your PC, and it's like whoop, works right there. Straight, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Have you tried that game? What's it called? Game Anywhere, Game Now, Game Everywhere.
Xbox Play Anywhere.
It's called Xbox.
Play Anywhere. That's it.
Yeah, Play Anywhere.
That's actually a very cool idea.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can continue without having to worry about the TV being used by someone else watching TV.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's if you wanted to play like an Xbox One game like Gears of War 4 on your PC, there you go. Since it's out on PC.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh look, I'll have to buy it once.
Yeah,
Pretty
which
much.
you're right.
Mhm.
Which you're right, Jerry. We'll get to PlayStation momentarily because.
Well, right now.
Oh God.
Do you have "See About You"? I don't think you have it as a soundbite.
Have what?
So it's something about we're gonna see about you.
No, I don't have that.
Oh. Well, there's
Sorry.
always next year if they're equally. Well, we'll get to them momentarily, but
So yeah, me it's a B plus with that. How about you, Double R? You said B minus.
Yeah, B minus. I mean, there was, like I said, there were some things that bored me, but overall, it was actually a much more better showing than what they had the last couple of years, as I said.
And now just to wrap up with Microsoft quickly, what did you guys think about the overall pricing and marketing for Xbox One X?
$4.99. Did I not say $4.99 or $4.50? I said $4.50 to $4.99, but I was hoping $4.50. But they were $4.99.
I was too.
It's only $50 more. I guess it's not terrible.
No,
but again, you have to realize it's a premium console.
Thank you, because that's the one thing I've been hating when I've been hearing from these, these valid YouTubers on YouTube or just throughout the community. It's like, why is it $4.99? I'm not gonna buy it. It's like, you do realize that Microsoft did one thing right compared to what Sony didn't do with the PlayStation 4 Pro. They said since day one when they announced this thing via Digital Foundry that this was a premium console. This is not meant to replace the Xbox One or the Xbox One S. It's supposed to be a family, a la to what Sony mistakenly didn't explain with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Because the way that they talked about it, it sounded like say, oh, you need this because it has 4K compatibility unlike the base units.
And you know what, guys? It definitely reminds me of last generation when Microsoft had 3 units of the Xbox. The first one with just the composite cables. The second one, the Pro, which had both the composite and the component cables, and the third one, Elite, which had which had all the composite component and HD cables right there. It's definitely a great reflection of that. And for $4.99, that's not bad.
No, it's not, especially with what's inside the unit, which has more beefier specs than the Pro. I mean, 12 gigs of RAM.
Can't wait to see some of those games in motion that use that architecture when that system comes out.
I agree.
Just remember, you can always get a PC if you want more power.
Oh, true.
Very
true.
true.
That is true. No, you're completely right.
Yep. Like, I'm one of those guys. And Jeff is going to be very, very soon as well.
Oh, absolutely. But overall, I think since we wrapped up on Microsoft and Sony, I think we can all agree that Xbox had one of the better showings in years. Speaking specifically about them.
Yes.
So who's next on
Sony.
Chop Punch? I mean, on the format.
It's Sony because I'm going by which of the big three started. It was Microsoft, then Sony, then Nintendo.
It just seems like Jeff is really wanting to get the axe on Sony so badly.
No, I actually want to hear Jerry's response first.
Okay, so we're on to Sony now.
Yeah.
Hi, Quick Man. You're in the chat. I see you.
Oh, hey,
Yo,
Quick
what's
Man.
up, Greg?
We're on to Sony now. Boy, was I underwhelmed. I mean, my God. I mean, come on. You guys even cut content. It was supposed to be an hour and a half. You shrunk it down to an hour. Why? What was the point of that? We were holding off for next. It sounds like you already had stuff for your next shows in Paris and Gamescom and for your own experience. Why did you feel that you needed to hold back that much just for those other shows? I don't understand it. And then the ones that you decided to show, every game we knew about except for Monster Hunter World Multiplat and the Shadow of Colossus remake. Everything else we knew about. Even though the Spider-Man footage was cool, we knew about Spider-Man from 2 years ago?
Yes.
Actually,
no, last year. Last year.
Excuse me.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's cool. Continue, man.
It's okay. All right, I'm continuing. So we knew about that already. We also knew about God of War. we knew about what else did they show? Jeez, Days Gone. All these games. Yeah.
I was going to say probably the worst game out of them all, which is the David Cage game.
Oh, Detroit.
Oh.
That's going to be prime riffing material, though.
Oh, hell yes.
Oh, yeah. We got to do that at one point.
Any of his games since Indigo Prophecy / Fahrenheit have been nothing but riffable material.
We're going to give this man money because we got to riff it. Other than that,
well, I'm not going to pay for it, but if somebody wants to donate to me, we will gladly do a riff on it.
Donate a copy of Detroit to Double R. Yes, we will riff it.
Oh yes,
because it's prime riffing material. But oh, and how could I forget all the VR games in the middle? I just answered my own question of why they actually wanted to push VR this E3 instead of the cool games they had that they cut out for other shows. Why did you want to push VR?
Well, I always said this, but Carl Brutanana Deluski always said it best on Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And we're going back to that same soundbite again.
Next door, jackass.
Seriously, VR should go next door. To EA land. I don't care which third party takes it.
Bethesda land.
Bethesda, perfect, because they got VR, Fallout, and Skyrim. Yeah, you're right. We'll get to them after Nintendo. No. Was Bethesda the first third party to stream?
No, EA was.
EA. We didn't.
But what we covered, yes, it was the first third party.
It was the first. We could talk about it.
Okay.
Quick. So Sony VR pushed everything out. Why? I don't know. Well, you do know, of course, but at the same time, it's like, if it's like what y'all did with 3D. If it's not catching on, I don't know. The thing is I kind of want to try the VR too, but it's not. I don't see it as the next big thing. I just see it as something, a cool diversion.
You say it's nothing more than an extension. I agree.
So with that said, I'm just gonna grade it and let y'all talk. Of course, I'll chime in because I'm Mr. Funny Man, but I'm giving Sony a D, solid D.
But before we go any further, I just want to say hello to LPH's Good in the chat.
Yo.
I just realized I didn't know it. And yes, you're right, LPH. VR is dead in 96.
Like it's dead in 2017. I completely agree.
Virtual
Hey, remember VR, the VR section in the Double Dragon movie?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Every time Sony brings up VR, I just think of that.
Yep, I agree.
So what y'all think? That was my thoughts. Like I said, I'll chime in.
Jeff, you go first this time.
You guys thought I was joking when I went on that whole. We went live after the show when I said, "Do we watch the same presser?" Because the more I thought about it after we were live that day, the angrier I got at what was shown at the event. Because people were saying that this is the best. It was specifically talking about the big three, the console manufacturers. It's the absolute worst. What was Microsoft was the complete 180 for Sony that we've been getting these last 2 to 3 years from them. And I've been more disgusted at the games that we showed. I liked God of War. I liked Days Gone for what it is. I like these games, these narrative games that they're doing, but I don't like them, and this is why I actually sold my PlayStation 4, that I actually have not liked Sony equally to that of Microsoft this generation, because they're nothing more of ho-hum games that just basically took the format and overall narrative design of The Last of Us and just copy and pasted with their known PlayStation properties. I mean, look at God of War. It doesn't feel like a God of War game. It feels like God of War presents The Last of Us. Same I feel in regards to Days Gone. And it's even worse because I find it funny that I didn't bring it up, but Microsoft, I like State of Decay. And I'm getting sick and tired of zombie games. This shows how more disinterest zombie games have become, because while I do like State of Decay 2 and I do want to play it, I have no interest in Days Gone because I feel it's pretentious, which is the worst kind of feel to have with a zombie game of all things. Like where Sony had this good start, this wonderful start this generation, I feel like that we're starting to see the usual whole arrogance that we're accustomed to in regards to Sony.
Yep. You took it right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
There's a reason why people like to call Sony arrogant Sony. This clearly shows it. Overall, and it was not only the games they show, it was the format, because like you said about VR, I find with VR shown, but why is it shown in the main show? I understand you have to units because, let's be blunt, do we really trust Sony with peripherals? I sure as hell don't.
No.
But the best thing to do it was to do it with its own separate thing, like the pre-show, and what was shown at the pre-show, like games like, I don't know, an official release for Knack 2, the official release date for Ni no Kuni 2, that should have been the main portion. The thing that they should have done was to sell software, because that's what should sell hardware, not this VR crap that no one cares about in the console space. It should be software, and for that alone, and especially for what Shohei Yoshida, bro, I like you, but when you had the audacity to say that we saved stuff for our own event, here's a thought. Why do you go to E3 to begin with? What's the point of E3 to begin with if you save stuff for your own event? Because that starts to have people think, what's the point of E3 these days? And they probably think that Nintendo, of all people, are on the right track but doing their own thing. So just for that alone, I originally was going to give them a C- just because of that last save with Spider-Man. That knocked it all the way down to a D-, close to an F.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also want to say, sidebar. Hello to the person all the way from Australia in the chat.
Yo!
Unpopular None 3.
Join Unpopular, man.
Greetings from America.
Greetings. Which I'm
Or
pretty sure
the
it's
United States.
I'm pretty sure it's morning time over there in Australia.
I think so, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Quickman brought up a good point from a reply he sent to LPH. What I've always said is VR is impressive anyways. However, it's a luxury item, not a mainstay item like a controller and whatnot. Same thing with ultra-wide or multi-monitor people. It's not a mainstay, but yeah.
It's a luxury item. He's right. So I
Yeah.
don't get why Sony, exactly, which perplexes me why Sony was pushing it that hard still.
Well, guys, let's not forget, these are the same people that tried to sell us on the PlayStation Move, the
Right.
PlayStation Camera.
Oh, yeah.
Like, say we want with Sony, they're good with software and hardware. When it comes to their own peripheral, they are crap with their own marketing.
Actually, this goes back to the PS2 PlayStation iToy.
No kidding. Not only that, but it's also with some selected hardware itself, like the PlayStation Vita. Great platform for portability. What was the two things that killed it? Announcing AT&T as its supplier, and more importantly, that pretentious hashtag that he had the audacity to share on social. Hashtag game changer.
I remember that. Oh, God, I remember that.
God.
Remember Racist Squirrels for the PSP?
Oh, I try not to.
Oh, oh Jesus. Brought up
Well,
bad
How about you,
memories.
Double?
But anyway, yes. I mean, I agree with you. When compared to the big three, Sony was definitely the weakest this year. They were pretentious, and they played things way, way too safe. I mean, out of all the games they showed during the press conference, I will agree with you that Monster Hunter World, Shadow of the Colossus remake, and what they showcased for the gameplay in the new Marvel Spider-Man on the PS4, those were the only three games that I really enjoyed, that I, had my eyes open towards. But for the most part, Sony's press event was just boring. Like we said, way too safe, very pretentious. And this whole knack of just pushing for VR when it's nothing but a luxury item, which has always been since Nintendo tried that 20 years prior with the Virtual Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like, it's not... How is it even acceptable in this day, in this day and age, when it wasn't even accepted back in the 90s? That just doesn't make any sense. And, with them being adamant and wanting to push VR, it just goes back to that whole philosophy that I believe that in order for why a company's games are so great is because the games themselves are innovative and not the hardware. And, I mean, when Sony is just pushing for PlayStation VR to be their big focus out of E3, it kind of makes you think whether or not if they actually have lost faith in their, in their intellectual properties at this time. And especially when it came to Nintendo with the Wii, and especially with the Nintendo Wii U. they always kept pushing for the gimmicks of the Wiimote as well as the Wii U gamepad. That just showed a lack of faith in their IPs. And when you take a look at the Nintendo Switch now, there's a lot more innovation in that thing when compared to its previous, to its previous consoles. But when taking a look at the PlayStation VR itself, is Sony really that lost with their current IPs? Do they not have faith that they're actually going to do well on their own since they're trying so hard to push VR at this point?
That's a very good question. You're right.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? You guys don't have faith in your own. You're right. Right.
You brought the Achilles heel of Sony that is going to be the inevitable downfall either the end of this generation or the beginning of the next generation PlayStation 5. Because next to Nintendo, Sony has one of the biggest first-party IPs in regards to its vault. And they have not even touched one beloved IP that a lot of people want to see a return to from the PS1 to PS2 generation. It's always been this mantra, we want to sell movie-like experiences because that's the only thing people care about.
No.
It's true of mainstream gamers. But with
Yes.
overall gamers, that's complete crap.
Yeah, and what the whole thing with Sony been working on Days Gone, I agree with you. It either should have been a brand new IP with more innovation, or they should have rebooted Siphon Filter.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I wish.
Because
we need you, Gabe.
How many more zombie games do we need? When
Exactly.
that crap has been oversaturated for about the past 10 years. There have been more zombie games than there has been in the entire history of gaming put together at this point.
And not only that, but it's funny when you bring up a zombie-like game that tried to be something unique experience, and its experience overall wasn't that unique, and it was just ho-hum, like The Last of Us. The Last of Us, I hate that this generation, with regards to Sony first party, that's become the blueprint of how to sell a game. The reason why that game worked was because it was a Naughty Dog game. They know how to do, they know how to do narration right, whether you like them or not. That's the one positive.
Right.
When I see that template in God of War, I lose interest just because I see it nothing more than Dad of War.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of Naughty Dog Software, the way how Sony started off their press conference, big fail. Trying to hype up a piece of downloadable content.
For DLC. Yep.
God.
Yep.
I mean, it made sense for God of War 4 last year, but with this year, for starting that off with that, musical number with the instruments for a piece of DLC, no, that should be for a fully packaged product. But not to go too further off the subject, and for us to move along, Sony, like I said, you were weak, you were pretentious, and this whole push for VR, it's like I don't even know you anymore. So, in the end, for Sony's press conference as of this year, it was a complete 180 over the positive ones that they had for about the past few years. So, I, too, would give them a D-.
Like Bart said to China, but I'm saying it to Sony. What happened to you, Sony? You used to be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And, I even said it, and I even made that crack during the whole E3 live stream when we were talking about, when we were watching Sony's press event. I was like, why would you do this, Sony? How could you be doing this to us?
You're supposed to be my friend!
Yes!
Yep. Well, it's simple. It happens. It happens to what happened with Nintendo with the Wii a couple years, 2 generations ago, and last generation with the 360 with Microsoft. Whoever is the top dog, they become egotistical just because of sales, like regards to lifetime sales.
Yep.
That's the reason why Sony is becoming too egotistical like they did with the PlayStation 2, because of not being pro-consumer. If they were pro-consumer, then why would they have someone like an idiot like fucking Jim Ryan saying, why do you want to play backwards compatibility? Or my personal favorite, he said 2 days ago, why do we do crossplay? Because we want to protect our kid demographic.
Hey, Jim Ryan, do you know sign language? Because I got a little bit of sign language for you.
There's...
You'll see it in the stream. But anyways, I'm down to my own on Sony.
There's a good thing I forgot to bring up. I actually heard it on a Stone Cold podcast. Yeah, that's right, on a pro wrestling podcast.
Yeah, pro wrestling.
I love Stone Cold.
Between a pro wrestler and an ex-MMA fighter, Pat Miletich, where they said when they were talking about a certain sport. I forgot what it was, but how they said, "Oh, we don't want people doing this sport." I think it was MMA, and they said, "Oh, because we're thinking of the safety of the children, safety of the children." And Pat Miletich brought a good point. He said, 7 kids die all the time in Little League baseball, but that still gets support.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to be self-righteous, like falsely righteous, stop trying to be pretentious. You're not doing this for the children for safety. You're doing it because you want your cut and you're not getting your cut.
Exactly.
And I said that is exactly what he said about MMA and stuff. Works for Sony. That's why. It ain't to protect the children. It's because they're not getting their cut when they allow cosplay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny for you to bring up, because as much business-wise, I can understand why he said that, because they're trying to sell PlayStation now. The problem is, and I've been saying this since day one, even as a Sony owner with the PlayStation 4, this generation wasn't the right generation to debut something like that, because we're not there yet in regards to streaming that much of gigabyte space regarding games. Like, we're there with, streamable stuff like movies, music, and TV shows, but we're not there yet with gaming.
Right. But anyway, I think we already been on the subject for a bit too long now, so I think it's time for us to move on.
Yeah, it is.
Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo!
So here's a good question. Who wants to go first?
Probably me, since I'm the Nintendo representative.
I just noticed in the stream you actually have us over our preferred console.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Because Jerry, you're the PlayStation guy, I'm the Nintendo guy, and Jeff's the Xbox guy.
Mm-hmm.
I like how you're using my Google avatar.
Well, I tried to find the one that you have on Discord, but I can't even save it.
It's the one I posted right there on the top of the chat.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine though. People probably go, "Oh,
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
My Google avatar is fine."
Anyways,
it's weird how you can't save it though.
Yeah, it is.
Well, actually, how about I go last? And Jerry, why don't you go first this time? Because
Can we go first?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
I'm
went
actually
first.
curious.
I went first on Microsoft, and wait a minute, did you go first on Sony's?
Did I?
Yeah, you did, because I went second and Kyle went last.
Okay, Jeff, you go
I
first
gave
on
first.
Nintendo,
Yeah,
and then
Jeff,
Jerry's
your turn.
next, and then I'm last.
All right.
Oh boy. I know we're gonna get to these guys later down when we talk about them, but if there was 2, I was expecting to not bring their A game this year. Actually 3, because we just talked about it, but I was more disappointed in regards to Sony. But the other 2 were Nintendo and Ubisoft. Nintendo, they surprised me. They actually maybe want to get a Switch come September, because they did the one thing I want to see just from them. They announced games for the remainder of this year and next year. That's why I just wanted from the Switch, unlike the Wii U's first year, a solid lineup going into the remainder of this year and into 2018. And they did the one thing I thought that I would never see them do: acknowledge Metroid exists. Not only they announced Metroid Prime 4, but they announced something that I expected they would never do, and that was Metroid Samus Returns, a full-fledged 2.5 3D polygonal remake of Metroid The Return of Samus for the original Game Boy back in 91, correct?
Yes. I think 91 or 92.
Around there, but I never expected to see that. And this is the first time we got in a true 2D Metroid game in the last 13 years. The last one we got was Zero Mission, a remake of the original Metroid on the Game Boy Advance. Nintendo blew my expectations out of the water, and I gotta say, going forward, if any events, that is the best way to have that perspective. Whether you have a preferred choice or don't, whether you're an all-range gamer or a preferred console manufacturer like myself, Jerry, or Kyle here, the best way to go into an event of any kind is to have low to mid expectations. Never put yourself in a hyped position.
Yeah,
Be
true.
hyped when a game is announced.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially one that you want. But when you get to that, you play yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But in regards to Nintendo, as we all know, I'm more the Microsoft guy. But that said, the two that I've always gravitated towards, and I liked Sony, but the last 2 generations they've lost me as a console purchaser, especially this generation. But that said, I like all three. I respect all three, and if any one of them went under, it would hurt
Exactly.
the consumer base,
Yeah.
and it would hurt the industry that people tend to forget. If
Same
one
thing.
goes under,
Same thing with yep.
Sony or Microsoft. If one of them went under, this industry is screwed. It is
Like-
so boned, it's not even funny.
Like
Yeah.
Double R loves Nintendo, but I'm sure, like me, he wouldn't want to see Sony and Microsoft fall. Just like
No,
me,
no.
liking Sony, I definitely don't want to see Nintendo or Microsoft fall.
Or we would have
No way.
or we would have a repeat like what's going on in the wrestling business with how WWE is pretty much the
Exactly.
monopoly of wrestling at this time.
Did I tell you that privately, Jeff?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And that's the main reason why that WWE is failing. Not because of gimmicks. Well, to an extent it is.
No-
but the
no
main
competition,
issue is
yeah.
they have no competition, which breeds success. That is the oldest line in regards to business etiquette 101. The more you have competition, the better outcome you have in experience and overall exposure. That said, I probably, if I recollect correctly, I think I gave Nintendo the lowest grade I did with Sony this year, which was around a D minus.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, yeah.
This year, complete 180.
Oh, yeah,
They're getting
turnaround,
an A from me.
Cool.
And in regards to the main three, I don't want to say one E3, but they definitely gave what I expected to see and exceeded. They came out with what I wanted. And for
Yeah.
that is the one thing that I think all of us can agree with. I get sick and tired when we hear people say, "Oh, so-and-so won E3
I was
just
just going to say, yeah, since you brought it up, yeah, we should bring that. Yeah, we're not doing who won.
No.
We're giving our scores,
that is a cardinal sin we will never do on this stream, whether we're doing a live taping of our podcast or any future events starting with this year. Because at the end of the day, E3 is nothing more than a wink fest for shareholders. You want to get hyped? Go watch the actual events that the manufacturers do, whether it's PlayStation Experience or Nintendo Direct, because that's where or even the PC showcase, which, if we're talking in general, I thought was way better than the three, specifically Sony and Microsoft, because they talk directly to the developers. They talk to the actual software guys. You know what I mean? And I like that direct talk more than the wing fence we've been seeing from both Microsoft and Sony this last decade. You know what I mean? But overall, Nintendo, they deserve an A for me. I'm not going to say they won E3 because really no one wins E3 but us.
I can't believe I forgot the showcase, because if I was going in order, it was showcased in Microsoft, and we should have started with that.
But we can still bring them up. It's not a big deal. And besides, we're mainly talking about the manufacturers.
Wouldn't that tie into PC though? I mean, third parties though.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we go
do that.
Too, so don't
we
worry.
do that the first or third parties after Nintendo.
Okay,
Quakeman,
Jerry.
I want to bring up the chat first. Quakeman said about the Discord web chat, because I was bringing it up in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
They've been working on it since early January, so it's hard to say how much time is left that they have it smooth and correct when it launches. And he sadly missed out on the showcase. Sadly and true, because we wish you were there, because only apparently only me, Double R, and Jeff were the only ones who liked the showcase. But we'll get to that. On the Nintendo, Super Mario Odyssey is hype.
Mm-hmm.
Metroid Prime 4 is a good announcement, though nothing was shown besides a logo. So that's why I'm not giving it an A. Same thing with the Pokemon announcement. They were just assurances that they were working on it, but with nothing to show. That killed a little bit of it to me. The Metroid 2 remake announcement, though, blew our socks off. Actually, if you check out our TheGameRiffers channel after the stream, please, you'll check out that our Metroid reaction is our most viewed video on the channel.
Yes, thank you so much for all the views, guys.
2,300 plus views so far. Nuts. Thank you guys for that.
Absolutely.
I had to bring that up. I had to talk about Wang Festa.
Anyway.
The Metroid, it blew my socks off seeing that. That's right. It's not, and it's, speaking of going back to Prime, right? You talking about Prime?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Prime is being developed by a new developer, not Retro Studios, and the Return of Samus remake is being done by Mercury Stream or Steam.
Mercury Steam, they're the guys who did Castlevania Lords of Shadow.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in good hands there. That's why I'm actually even more hyped for it, because they
yeah.
know if you've played the 2D 3DS games of Castlevania, they're pretty good. So they know 2D action, which is why it looked more actiony and more like Team Ninja-y almost, which is what we thought at first when we first saw it.
Yeah.
I know.
So that's cool. What else did Nintendo show? The Mario Odyssey got me real hyped. Because seeing different things Mario can do and going 2D on certain parts, like a Link Between Worlds, kind of cool. Took some Zelda influence there, but hey, they always seem to borrow off each other, Mario and Zelda.
Of course.
You never notice it that much, but they do. If you ever played Link's Awakening, those Mario-type levels in there, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. More fan service to Mario in that game than pretty much Link and Zelda and Ganondorf.
I do wish they showed more Pokemon, though, but I liked what I did see. They felt themselves a little bit too much with talking during the post-direct and during the direct itself, not just saying, hey, we're working on this. Oh, no, you can't see it. Kirby is hyped, though, and Yoshi looks good. They also announced during the direct, post-direct, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, which also looks good.
Oh, that game looks so good.
I played the crap out of the GBA version, so I'm definitely trying to pick that up. As for me, like I said, I liked all that. Nintendo did good. Y'all felt yourself a little too much, and y'all thought just saying a word without gameplay was it got people excited, but it's not enough for me. So I'm giving them a B+. Bilar?
All right, sounds good. All right, I mean, first off, when going into the Nintendo Spotlight, their E3 presentation, I had low to mid expectations like you guys, because I really thought that after the Nintendo Switch came out, that they were either gonna, hit off strong or go home. And, it's events like this where you're expecting them more to, where it's like they're gonna go home. But for this year at E3, looks like my fears were turned around. And I agree with you guys that Nintendo had, they did not win in E3, but out of all the big three, I think they had the strongest presence in terms of not only, their hardware, but in terms of the content and the software that they have coming down for the rest of this year and going into 2018. And the announcement of both Metroid Prime 4 and Metroid Samus Returns, oh my god, couldn't be any more happier as a Metroid fan to see both those games get announced. As a JRPG nut, I'm really, really happy to know that...
I can't believe... You're talking about Xenoblade, right?
Yeah, I was going to go into Xenoblade.
I can't believe I forgot it again. Oh my god, that looks like Xenosaga, like a return to form.
Mm-hmm. It looks far more refined as a game done with how Tetsuya Takahashi originally worked on his games back in the past. I mean, I really like Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X for what they are, but this one actually looks more like a traditional JRPG experience.
Exactly. It looks like a return to form, for real.
Mm-hmm. And with it still coming out this holiday season, oh my god. This holiday season's gonna be pretty tight for me in terms of finances. But of course, I still have to get my family presents and all that, but still, it's just gonna be really difficult. I gotta say, damn it, Nintendo, you know how to, drain people's wallets. But anyway.
That's true.
But anyway, getting back on track here. I missed the announcement of Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga plus Bowser's Minions. But I did watch it afterwards, and I gotta say, for a 3DS remake, for them going for that same aesthetic that they used for both Mario and Luigi Dream Team and Paper Jam, looks really good for a remake, and I definitely cannot wait for it this October. And Fire Emblem Warriors, that's another one I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm going to be picking it up on Switch. I might pick it up on the Nintendo 3DS at another point, because with Nintendo, it is going to be on the new Nintendo 3DS XL, kind of like how Hyrule Warriors ended up on there. But you never know. But unless if they're going to bring out content for both versions as well as downloadable content, like a season pass for both versions, it's like I'm kind of just going to lean more into the Switch version instead. since you can take that handheld with you on the go, or you can play at home. So I think the Switch version is more acceptable in my eyes. But holy crap, Super Mario Odyssey was breathtaking for me. I mean, it feels like it is definitely the true return of the 3D platform collectathon that we have seen in the Mario games since the Mario Galaxy games on the Wii. I was definitely put off by Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World when they released on both the 3DS and the Wii U respectively, because they were more in line with the casual gamers in mind. But Mario Odyssey, it seems like it's taking all the great things about the old 3D collectathon platformers that we've seen in Super Mario 64, Sunshine, and the Galaxy games, and it's just gonna go one step above with just what they're all showing. How you use your cap to take control of all objects and living beings, as well as the new kingdoms that you would not expect them to be worlds in a Mario game, and even with the oh geez, I can't even think off the top of my head. Like, just the new gameplay mechanics of like how you can get the equipment and stuff, and how you can actually blend in with the environments. Like, you can be either Worker Mario that you saw in Super Mario Maker, or you can be Mexican Mario, as we like to call, that you saw in one of the Game Boy games, or you can be All American Mario, which you saw in NES Open or NES Golf. It's just paying an homage to all these Mario games in some way, but just making a new game that just seems like a really fresh and just groundbreaking experience. But and of course I am very happy for the new Kirby game as well as the new Yoshi game, and I'm very excited to know that the new Yoshi game is actually being developed with Unreal Engine 4 in mind, which I was very surprised by. And not to mention, I did take a look at an article just recently from Nintendo Enthusiast as the reason why we saw a good amount of content for those games. And it's because Nintendo's headquarters over in Kyoto, Japan, they actually have ramped up the size of development teams within that building. So that's why we saw a lot of content from them at E3 this year. So yeah, in terms of content, yeah, good job, Nintendo. You did really great. Hopefully you'll continue to build on this momentum within the next year and however long you have going. But seriously, for this year's E3, it's definitely making me a strong believer in the Switch, far more so than I was with the Wii U. You know, going at the end of the Wii U. I mean, I did try to give the Wii U a bit of a chance, but since things ended up as what they are, hopefully the Nintendo Switch is going to be your big turnaround, and I strongly believe that. So, in the end, I will give Nintendo an A for their presence at E3 for this year. I mean, they were nearly neck and neck with Microsoft, in my opinion, but I think in terms of content, Nintendo really did hit it off the ballpark.
Okay.
And that's it for me.
All right, then. So we've got third parties.
Oh, boy.
In terms of showcase, EA was first. I want to go first with EA. I got a real simple sentence for it. EA is EA. It's inoffensive, but also unexciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There you go. C.
For me, EA, and this is one we'll bring up too with the other one that we didn't like. We're gonna go into later in this segment, which is Bethesda. Why? Why did it feel so necessary to do a presser this year when you had nothing to show but just DLC and a sequel that really I don't think anyone's really that hyped about because said sequel has basic functions that the original game should have had when released a year or two ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I would actually put them on par with I want to put them on par with Sony, but I will give them a D. Because I did like what I see with Battlefront 2 and the DLC for Battlefield 1, but that was only the highlights. So D for me.
Okay.
Oh, I was being nice to EA. Wow.
All right. EA. I mean, what more can I say? It was pretty much the same thing that we pretty much seen from them for quite a long time now. I mean, especially with the last couple of years. I really don't think... Well, I will say that even though Star Wars Battlefront may not hit off in strong strides right away, but at least it does look like an improvement over the original reboot that we got not too long ago. And for Need for Speed Payback, why? But in the end, yeah, it was just more the same. EA's EA. They are not trying to be offensive, but they were just being unexciting like they usually were. So I will have to give them a D on my end.
Wow, I'm the nicest to EA. I never would have guessed. That's new.
All right, Bethesda is next.
So, no, PC, real quick, PC.
Oh, okay.
If you want, I just want, the reason why I want to bring it up because I thought their press conference, the three of us here thought their press conference was nice. That what they did was what we wanted to see: games and developers talking, and none of the cringy spectacle. But everyone else was like, it didn't have cringy spectacle. It was boring, therefore bad. No, it wasn't. It didn't have cringy spectacle, meaning it was awesome, meaning it was about the games. It was about the games. What's wrong with that?
And they were talking about the games.
So they were like a A. I think they're the only A I'm giving. Wow. No, it's one more A.
Yeah. For me, this is the only presser that I will give my A plus, and here's the reason why. And it's what you just said right now. They didn't go with that entire wave fest of bringing out subsidies or bringing out freaking car like Microsoft occasionally does when announcing a Forza game. They just talked about the most important things. The developers and letting the software speak for itself like it should.
Mm-hmm.
The only downside I would say, the environment looked a little moody because of the lighting. But that aside, besides another one, I think this is going to be the only one I give my A plus, mainly because of just giving a damn, not because of the shareholders, like Nintendo, because I feel like they're the only two cats that don't give a crap about the shareholders and care more about the consumers themselves. So A plus for me.
Okay. For me personally, with the PC gaming show, I mean, it was the first time for me experiencing the PC gaming show, to be honest. It's really different from what I expected, but yeah, I definitely agree with you guys that they were, talking to the developers and actually talking about the games that they actually have in development. So they pretty much let the games speak for themselves. If there's anything that I kind of question, then it was the host of the PC gaming show, because when you take a look at that guy's face, it looks like he's one of those guys who you just want to slug so badly. Just that personality somewhat.
Well, that's a personal thing.
Well, yeah, it's a personal thing, but the show itself, it was pretty good. I will probably give it an A- on my end, because that's not my A+ press conference. There's one that I hope that we actually talk about. That's my A+.
Okay.
Well, next up will be Bethesda. But no, talk. I just want to again. Why am I going first? I guess I have excitement. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Anybody else want to go first? I was gonna go first. Like, wait a minute. I kept going first. I'm sorry. Anybody else want to go?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Because I will go first if you let me.
Okay. And since we got about 6 minutes before we hit the hour mark, I'm gonna go ahead and go first this time. Bethesda.
All right.
The worst, probably neck and neck with EA at the event. They pretty much did same thing with what they did last year, and but I would say that what they showcased for Doom VFR, it looks interesting. The Evil Within 2, I definitely am going to keep my eyes on that because it looks a lot better than what we've seen with the original Evil Within. Hopefully it's a much better and more refined game. And Wolfenstein 2, I will definitely keep that on my radar as well and see how it all progresses. I mean, aside from those three saving graces for them, well, basically, mostly two, Bethesda was pretty much pulling the same stuff that they did last year, but I would go ahead and give them a C- on their end. That might be a bit too lenient, but that's how I personally feel.
Can I go next?
Yes, go ahead.
You go, or I'll.
I don't know. I can't say for Jerry over here, but Kyle, I think you were too nice, like how Jerry said it with me. It's to EA. They're getting an F. They're just getting a straight F, Bethesda, because how is it possible that Bethesda can out-top Sony in pretentiousness? Simple. Just show 2 VR games that has no point of being there.
You stole what I was gonna say.
No, I'm adding more. I'm adding more. Just show 2 VR games, rent out an entire auditorium to show nothing than a Nintendo Direct for 30 minutes. There you go. The only saving grace, Wolfenstein 2. That's it. My automatic F for this year's E3.
Now I feel even more ashamed.
That's fine.
Dude, that's your prerogative. But
that's true.
I gave EA a C and I'm like, oh well, I guess I didn't hate him.
Yeah.
That's fine.
But anyway,
and that's the thing. I hated it Bethesda more than EA. Think about that.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, Jerry.
As for me, I was gonna say what Jeff was gonna say. How it's like Bethesda's problem was Nintendo's slight problem, but amplified to an exponential amount, which is that they were feeling themselves way too much. Oh, we're Bethesda. We're so great. You know how great we are? We're going to let you do our game development for us, and we'll still get paid for it. We'll call it the Creation Club.
Can't believe I forgot about that. No, I can't believe I forgot about that.
Yeah. And the whole video is like, we're feeling ourselves so much. Look how great we are. We don't have a new Elder Scrolls or Fallout to show you. We just have add-ons for Fallout and Elder Scrolls in terms of VR. And the one game you care about, Wolfenstein, we're going to show a little bit of that. Just a little bit. And Quake, not even show that either. We're just going to talk about it, though. All right, we're done. Wait, what? Wait, what do you mean that's it? No new actual games? Y'all just and y'all say y'all great. That's all y'all was doing, feeling yourselves. And with that said, F. I was gonna give it a D-, but then I remembered the whole paid mod thing.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So yeah, that's me. All right, so what's next? Who showed next? And
Ubisoft.
Was it Ubisoft? Hey Jeff, go ahead, go first for this one.
They showed 2 games that I thought would never be showed. That Mario plus Rabbids game, I never expect to see a cross between Ubisoft and Nintendo of all people, but then again, they have one of the better relationships in regards to Nintendo's partners.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like a great game. I'm surprised of all things it's being run on by the same engine that utilized for The Division. Snowdrop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about you guys. I think it's one of the better animated games I've seen at the expo this year.
Oh,
like from overall design, character animations, I think the best animated I've seen overall at E3 2017. Not only getting that announcement, but getting an announcement I thought none of us would ever see this generation, and that's Beyond Good and Evil 2. So with those 2 announcements alone, another A+.
Okay. Jerry, you or me next?
I'll go because I'm so hyped. Okay, so Ubisoft did talk about Nintendo style turnaround. Ubisoft did it as well. They actually showed games. They had a little bit of cringe with that Mortal Kombat dancing.
Oh God, the Link Way crew.
Let's name which ninja they're transforming to next. That was kind of fun, but that was the only fun part about it.
Mm-hmm.
They showed. What else did they show? Assassin's Creed Origins, right? Did they?
Yeah, they showed that.
A little bit of that. They showed
White Trash the game. I mean, Far Cry 5.
Oh yeah. That's true. They showed Rayman. I already said Jeepers. What else did they show? Gosh, Beyond Good and Evil. Jeff mentioned
Starlink.
Starlink. That looked cool. Legit, that looked cool. The reason why is because it looked like Gunpla, like model kit building, but with starships. At least on the Switch version. I don't know if the other versions are going to get that.
And I think one of our...
someone compared it to Adult Skylanders.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Which is kind of cool. So Ubisoft entertained me, and they showed more games. But it didn't really stick with me. So for me, y'all love it a lot. But again, like with Nintendo, I gotta be the one. Man, I can't give them an A+. Man. I'm giving them an A-.
Okay.
They did good.
That's fine. And for me personally, Ubisoft, definitely much better performance than the last few years that they've been having just safe and pretentious showings. My big highlights, of course, are the Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, and surprise, that's actually coming out really, really soon, within the end of August. Starlink is another one that's definitely on my radar. I would say maybe Assassin's Creed Origins, but I'm not fully sold on it just yet. After most of the Assassin's Creed games after Assassin's Creed 2 Brotherhood have really underwhelmed me, and I particularly did not even pick up Unity or Syndicate because, well, Unity is nothing but a bunch of nightmare fuel, and Syndicate...
Oh, Unity was... Well, Syndicate was alright.
Yeah, I heard Syndicate was a lot better, but it was just becoming more oversaturation on a yearly basis at this point. And, I'm very glad that that they actually took a year off, so that way, even though they were focusing on the movie last year, but they're putting out a new game this year. And why an $800 collector's edition? Why? Oh, jeez.
Why?
Good question.
That is a good question. Probably my big turnoffs were both Far Cry 5, which I dub white trash the video game, because it's taking place in an American setting. And, which I have no problem with, but it was just way too safe of a, place that they would actually choose for a Far Cry game. And the other big turnoff was Just Dance 2018 when they had the Lin Kuei crew actually turning into different colors of each of the members of that group in Mortal Kombat. And Beyond Good and Evil 2 was another big surprise for me. I didn't even think we would actually see a trailer for that. And with it being unconfirmed for specific platforms at this point, I guess we'll just have to wait, and we'll have to see what all they announce down the future. But I have good faith in Michael Ansel that he's going to make it for multiple platforms aside from just the PC, which, the PC is definitely the first choice he would probably go with for a game like that. But overall, Ubisoft, you really, really surprised me. I mean, I've been very harsh and critical with you for the past few years. And, with you not bringing Aisha Tyler on stage or not having her for this year's E3, I was like, maybe with her not being there, maybe this press conference actually did have some good things happen to it. And it definitely seemed like it did. But in the end, it was actually pretty good. I mean, it was very pretentious with those two games that I mentioned, but overall, it was nice. So I give them a B.
Oh, nice. So I give them an A+. Our buddy Jerry, who was sadly not with us at the time being because Discord crashed on him, he gave him an A-, and you gave him a B. So that's great to hear.
Yes, but that's not the third party that I actually was going to give an A+ to. If you want to know who that A+ goes to, there's a little company called Devolver Digital.
Oh, yes.
15 minutes of a press conference, and they teamed up with the guys from William Street of Adult Swim, and they pretty much give a big fuck you to all the press conferences with how they try to present themselves with a press conference. It was just sheer brilliance.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I give them an A+ for that. What do you have to say on that, Jeff?
I would agree with you. Like, I would actually knock that A+ to Ubisoft and give them a solid A and give my other A+ to that. that presser. Thank you very much for just reminding me about that beautiful piece of digital entertainment we got this year, courtesy of Digital Devolver.
Oh yeah, or Devolver Digital.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And if Jerry was back on, then I'm sure he would give.
Yeah, I'm back.
He is.
I'm back.
What'd you think about
Discord
What'd you think about Devolver Digital?
I saw it. It was like an Adult Swim show. Like Tim and Eric or something, or Andre. I don't care for those shows, so it was a B to me.
Okay.
Understandable.
All right, so it's time for us to wrap up with our final thoughts on E3. Wouldn't you say?
Was Devolver the last one?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Out of third parties that had a press conference? Yep.
Well, yeah, all right then. Wrap up then.
Our final thoughts on E3.
I'll go mine because mine's the quickest first. It's E3 is starting this nosedive like it's have been for the last 4 to 5 years of what's the relevancy in this event specifically anymore, if it's just for shareholders and not for the actual consumers like you, myself, and Jerry over here.
Mm-hmm.
But that said, while the main show has just been like how it's been in the last 4 years, just going for a nosedive, there were some great announcements from the big three and individual. It's just this format's tiring. But that said, I was pleasantly surprised with what I was given, and not what I was given from the opposite from the publishers we spoke about. Good show, but you can definitely see there's a decline waiting to happen with this format. Sadly, those are my overall thoughts.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that with E3 2017, I definitely saw what you were mentioning about the nosedive with how E3 has been declining for about the past few years, and it's just like, what's the point of E3 anymore? I mean, if you're going to just entertain, try to impress shareholders instead of gamers in mind, since that is open for both investors and shareholders and gamers in mind, since E3 is more of a public type of show than it was back during the old days before they made it available to the public. Even though they had E4All for more of the public side before they canceled that and just stuck with E3 overall in the end.
Yeah, but like more so now, I agree with you, Kyle. Yeah, it's more so open, so you would think it'd be more open-minded to the actual consumers and less the shareholders. Kind of like how Nintendo does their things these days. They direct for their fans / consumers, and while the shareholder events they do privately at galas and that type of stuff for the shareholders themselves with the Q&As. I feel that's what both Microsoft and Sony should and need to do in order to have this format be relevant.
Yeah, in terms of the presence of everybody who were there, I would say that Nintendo was probably the strongest one at E3, whereas Ubisoft was a very close second, and then Microsoft following behind. But E3 itself in general, it pretty much just was underwhelming, as I thought. I mean, there were some good announcements in terms of third parties and for the three that I mentioned that were the strongest, but overall, it just... I was expecting that, maybe I was expecting too much, but since E3 is starting to it has been losing its appeal and how it's going down even further, but it's just like, E3 just could have been better. I really hoped it would have been better, but unfortunately, it's just still continuing that downward trend. I mean, it wasn't bad, but with the surprises we got, but for what it is, it's just left me underwhelmed and disappointed in the end. So those are my thoughts.
Well, Kyle, just to interject quickly, like when you say that you expected too much, in some ways, yes, but in the overall, it's really not your fault because when you think about it, when this generation started, how long was it when we originally got the PS3 and 360?
About
7 to 8 years, exactly, right?
Mm-hmm.
The public now having their eyes open and realizing how lackluster E3 has started to become these last 4 to 5 years, it's really on the heads over at Sony and Microsoft. Say what you will about Sony having million and supposedly Microsoft respectfully have around 35, 36 million if Wikipedia is to be believed worldwide.
Money in their war chest, basically, right?
Yeah, it's more of if we're investing this much money into hardware, specifically home consoles, we do have the right to expect more. in regards to software announcements, especially of how long last generation was. So it's really not your fault entirely, because it's more on the heads of these manufacturers who make this Wing Fest happen to begin with, because they really should be putting all this money into, celebrities and endorsements and this and that. They should really be putting this money into the thing that should be selling these units, especially the 60 million worldwide from Sony's end, and that is actual content, software, because software sells units, and that's the one thing that's been really killing this industry, this generation, is the lackluster software we have on both sides.
Mm-hmm. Oh, of course. But anyway, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry, go ahead and deliver your final thoughts on E3 this year.
I'm going to say that Nintendo has the right mindset. Before I thought they were being pretentious, but now I know that apparently I think they saw the writing on the wall about E3. That it's like, wait, you know what? We're doing our own thing because E3 is becoming less and less viewed, less and less important. So why don't we do our own thing called the Nintendo Direct? I think that they were just future-proofing now that I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Sony seems to also do the same thing now. They're kind of doing it, but not quite committing to it. But they're basically doing like, okay, we're also going to have our own show. Microsoft seems to be the only one that I got a feeling they're going to make their own show sooner or later.
Yeah, eventually.
As for this year, just speaking about this year, it was underwhelming as all crap. I mean, my God, there was a couple of announcements, but overall, despite those few mark-out moments we had, it was kind of, those parts where I thought I was going to fall asleep during some of these pressers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, jeez. So overall to E3, despite giving it A here or there, if I had to grade the whole thing, I'd give it a D plus C minus for just as a whole.
You know what? If I was doing overall, I would given. You said D minus, correct?
D plus.
D plus. I would have gone D minus because it's like what I just said a couple minutes ago before you were talking about your perspective, Jerry. When we put $300 to $400 into these hardware each and every year on opposite sides, I can't really feel bad for consumers expecting so much, because in reality they should expect that much due to software announcements and releases with these droughts we've been having from Microsoft and Sony, because it's kind of depraved and really disgusting that the only hype that these two have brought out are from hardware releases and not really software releases and announcements, mind you. That stuff I feel like is really killing E3, is the fact that we've been hearing just little to no response in releases this generation. And I think that's mainly the reason why I've just given up on consoles this generation. On my end, at least. I don't know about you guys.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of slowly becoming that, especially with Sony and the PS4, to be honest. And that's why I'm kind of moving back to PC. But that's my opinion. But but when it comes to Jerry, I'm not
2 cents.
2 cents. Yeah. Way to plug my opinion piece show on my YouTube channel, man.
Yep.
But anyway, I think that's all done. I think we're finally all finished, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. With that said, if you missed our stream, check out our YouTube and my YouTube, but I think it'll be first posted there because Twitch export. Check out our YouTube, TheGameRiffers, same name, and our Twitter and our Facebook, same name, TheGameRiffers.
Yep.
Okay. You can find me on youtube.com/RPGreviews, as well as facebook.com/RPGreviews, and at twitter.com, where my handle is @RPGreviews. And I'm currently working on episode 8 of my Final Fantasy retrospective as of right now, which covers Final Fantasy 11. Don't know when I'll finally get done with that, but hopefully it'll be before the end of this year. I'm going to try to ask some people if they want to help me out, if they are willing to do so, but I'm not going to hold my breath on that, as I'll, continue to try play it on my own end. But as a side project, I'm also working on a top 10 for the first time. But it's more of a top 5 best and worst games at this year's E3. So I'm currently working on that at the moment, so hopefully I'll have it done either tonight, which probably is not going to happen, but most likely tomorrow. So yeah, be on the lookout for that on my YouTube page, and I'll definitely send the link to both 16-Bit Jeff as well as Fighter Cows if we want to put it on the TheGameRiffers, and if we want to, I can upload it from there too. But either way, be sure to be on the lookout for more content that's coming from me in the future, as well as from us at TheGameRiffers, either on YouTube or Twitch, that you're not going to find anywhere else. So I'll catch you guys on the flip side for whatever else I decide to make, so stay tuned.
And on my end, if you want to follow me for Twitter on my end in regards on that platform with twitter.com/16bitjeff. I'm currently writing an article for Hero Club /Geek Fighters in regards to my top 5 E3 show stealers of the year in regards to this year's event. So look forward to that hopefully being posted either tomorrow or Monday the latest. In regards to me doing my own content, the determined schedule time for that should be next year, earliest January or February, when I finally do get my laptop. So look forward to that for me doing overall content on Twitch, both in regards to streaming and possible video reviews. So look forward to that, and that is twitch.tv/16bitjeff.
Well, we all hope that you enjoyed our final thoughts here on the Ikaricast Classic, as well as the TheGameRiffers. And we will definitely see you next time for whenever we work on a live stream, which this is something we want to try to get back to doing. Or you can even wait until this December when we get on to both the Game Awards as well as PSX 2017.
Yes, we're planning to do our
bring it
first,
up. I was just going to bring it up,
PSX live reaction. Yes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Once again, for the people who joined us for E3 this year, from the bottom of from all of us, from myself, Kyle, and Jerry, thank you very much for retweeting. Thank you for tweeting our streams. Thank you overall for viewing that much of content that we did this year, especially that reaction to the Metroid: Samus Returns trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, thank you. You really don't know how humble we are, and really means that much to us.
Overall, we had almost 200 people come check us out at one point or another, thanks to you guys.
Damn.
Yeah.
And you guys don't know how much that means to us.
And we definitely want to and we definitely want to say thank you to all the people who joined us for the pre-shows and the post-shows too. I mean, without you guys, our pre-shows and post-shows probably wouldn't have been that entertaining. It was definitely more like a 3-day slumber party for all of us. We had a hell of a fun time with you guys, and we definitely
because let's be blunt, if it wasn't for you guys, it would have just been a drab, boring experience for all three of us. Kind of like how the Game Awards was for the last 2 years for us, huh?
Mm-hmm. And we definitely want to have you guys back on again, either for the Game Awards or for PSX or even at E3 next year, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess for us to all sign off, we have our creator of the TheGameRiffers as well as the creator of the Ikaricast, Fighter Cows.
Yeah, that's right. That's me.
Yep.
We also have his good co-host of the Ikaricast Classic, and also my good friend of the TheGameRiffers that me and Jerry are also a part of, 16-Bit Jeff.
See you guys later.
And, of course, me, Double RPG. The guy who's mostly on the TheGameRiffers, but not mostly on the Ikaricast, since that's both Jerry and Jeff's thing. But
when we talk gaming, you're on.
Oh, yeah, whenever it comes to gaming, they can always bring me on. But either way, guys... Thank you so much for joining us once again, and we'll definitely see you next time for whatever we decide to make. So, to sign off, this Double RPG, that's Fighter Chaos, and that's 16-Bit Jeff, and see you guys next time. And to quote on my end, Godspeed and game on, gamers, and we'll catch you later. Peace out!
See all you guys for December.